It's easy to fall into the trap of people-pleasing, but it's important to recall that you have a right to prioritize your own well-being. Saying no doesn't make you selfish, it makes you self-aware. Now let's look into 5 things you should never receive from anyone. This isn't about material possessions, but about intangible things that can subtly chip away at your self-worth and autonomy. First and foremost, never accept disrespect. Your time, energy, and feelings are valuable. If someone consistently disregards your boundaries or makes you feel small, it's time to reevaluate that relationship. Remind yourself that you deserve to be treated with kindness and consideration. Second, don't accept guilt trips. People who try to manipulate you with guilt are often trying to control your actions or decisions. So you're not responsible for their happiness, and you shouldn't feel obligated to do things that go against your own values. Third, never accept negativity. We all have bad days, but if someone is constantly spewing negativity and complaints, it can drain your energy and cloud your own outlook on life. Surround yourself with positive influences who lift you up and inspire you. Fourth, don't accept unsolicited advice. Unless you've specifically asked for someone's opinion, their unsolicited advice can often be more about their own agenda than your well-being. Trust your own instincts and seek guidance from those you trust and respect. Finally, never accept limitations. We all have unique talents and potential. If someone tells you that you can't achieve your dreams or that you're not good enough, don't let their doubts become your own. Believe in yourself and your abilities, and don't let anyone put a ceiling on your aspirations. Now, I know what you might be thinking. It's easy to say these things, but how do you actually put them into practice? It starts with recognizing your own worth and setting healthy boundaries. And learn to say no without feeling guilty, and surround yourself with people who uplift and empower you. You have a right to choose what you accept into your life, whether it's a gift, a favor, or someone's opinion. It's okay to decline if it doesn't align with your values or well-being. It's not about being rude or ungrateful. It's about prioritizing your own needs and happiness. Learning to say no is a powerful act of self-love. It allows you to create space for the things and people that truly matter to you. When you stop accepting things that drain you, you open yourself up to new possibilities and experiences that nourish your soul. Let's look deeper into the first point. Never accept disrespect. Disrespect can manifest in many ways, both subtle and overt. It might be a sarcastic comment that undermines your confidence, a dismissive wave of the hand, or a blatant disregard for your opinions and feelings. It can even be disguised as a joke, leaving you unsure whether to laugh or feel hurt. When someone disrespects you, it's important to address it directly. Don't brush it off or pretend it doesn't bother you. By speaking up, you're not only standing up for yourself, but also setting a boundary that this behavior is not acceptable. Sometimes a simple conversation is all it takes. Explain how their words or actions made you feel, and ask them to be more mindful in the future. However, if the disrespect continues, you may need to reevaluate the relationship. Keep in mind that you teach people how to treat you by what you tolerate. If you consistently allow disrespect, you're essentially giving them permission to continue. On the other hand, when you stand your ground and communicate your boundaries, you're showing them that you value yourself and won't settle for anything less than respect. It's also important to note that disrespect isn't always intentional. Sometimes people are simply unaware of how their words or actions are affecting you. In those cases, a calm and honest conversation can often clear the air and strengthen the relationship. However, if someone consistently disregards your feelings and boundaries despite your efforts to communicate, it's time to reevaluate whether that relationship is healthy for you. This doesn't mean you have to cut ties with everyone who has ever disrespected you. In some cases, it might be possible to salvage the relationship by setting clear boundaries and having open communication. But if disrespect is a recurring pattern, it's okay to distance yourself or even end the relationship altogether. Recall that you deserve to be surrounded by people who uplift and empower you, not those who tear you down. By refusing to accept disrespect, you're creating space for healthier relationships that nourish your soul and allow you to thrive. Now let's turn our attention to the second point. Never accept guilt trips. Guilt trips are a sneaky form of manipulation that can leave you feeling trapped and obligated. It's when someone tries to make you feel responsible for their emotions or choices, even when it's not your fault. Guilt trippers often use phrases like, "If you really cared about me, you would," or "I've done so much for you, the least you can do is." They might play the victim, exaggerate their hardships, or make you feel like you're letting them down if you don't comply with their demands. The key to dealing with guilt trips is to recognize them for what they are: manipulation. Don't let anyone make you feel guilty for setting boundaries or prioritizing your own needs. You're not responsible for their happiness, and you shouldn't feel obligated to sacrifice your own well-being to please them. It's also important to recall that guilt trippers often have underlying issues that they're projecting onto you. They might be struggling with insecurity, resentment, or a need for control. By understanding their motives, you can detach yourself from their emotional baggage and respond with empathy but firmness. When faced with a guilt trip, it's helpful to set clear boundaries and communicate your needs calmly and assertively. You can say things like, "I understand that you're upset, but I'm not responsible for your feelings," or "I'm willing to help, but I can't do it at the expense of my own well-being." It's also important to be consistent with your boundaries. If you give in to guilt trips once, the person is likely to try it again in the future. By standing your ground and refusing to be manipulated, you're teaching them that guilt trips won't work on you. You have a right to say no without feeling guilty. Your time, energy, and resources are valuable, and you get to choose how you spend them. Don't let anyone guilt you into doing things that go against your values or well-being. Learning to resist guilt trips is a powerful step towards reclaiming your autonomy and protecting your emotional health. It allows you to build healthier relationships based on mutual respect and understanding rather than manipulation and guilt. Now let's shine a light on the third point: never accept negativity. Negativity is like a dark cloud that can cast a shadow over your entire life. It can sap your energy, dampen your spirit, and leave you feeling drained and discouraged. Negativity can come from various sources: a critical family member, a pessimistic coworker, or even the constant barrage of negative news and social media. It can manifest as complaints, criticism, gossip, or simply a pessimistic outlook on life. When you allow negativity to permeate your life, it can start to affect your own thoughts and feelings. You might find yourself focusing on the negative aspects of situations, doubting your abilities, or feeling hopeless about the future. It's important to protect yourself from negativity by setting clear boundaries and limiting your exposure to negative influences. This doesn't mean you have to cut ties with everyone who has a negative outlook, but it does mean being mindful of how much time and energy you invest in those relationships. If someone is constantly complaining or criticizing, you can gently steer the conversation towards more positive topics. If that doesn't work, it's okay to excuse yourself or limit your interactions with them. You can also protect yourself from negativity by cultivating a positive mindset. Focus on the things you're grateful for, practice self-care, and surround yourself with positive influences who uplift and inspire you. When you fill your life with positivity, it becomes harder for negativity to take root. You'll be better equipped to handle challenges, bounce back from setbacks, and maintain a hopeful outlook on life. You have a choice in how you respond to negativity. You can let it consume you, or you can choose to rise above it and focus on the positive aspects of your life. By refusing to accept negativity, you're not only protecting your own well-being, but also creating a more positive environment for yourself and those around you. It's also important to be mindful of your own thoughts and words. Are you contributing to the negativity by complaining, criticizing, or focusing on the negative aspects of situations? If so, challenge yourself to reframe your thoughts and focus on the positive. And by cultivating a positive mindset and surrounding yourself with positive influences, you can create a ripple effect of positivity that spreads to others. Keep in mind that your energy is contagious, so choose to radiate positivity and watch how it transforms your life and the lives of those around you. Moving on to the fourth point, never accept unsolicited advice. We've all encountered those well-meaning individuals who love to offer their opinions and suggestions even when we haven't asked for them. While their intentions might be good, unsolicited advice can often feel intrusive, judgmental, and even disrespectful. When someone offers unsolicited advice, it can undermine your own decision-making abilities and make you doubt your own judgment. It can also feel like they're not listening to you or respecting your autonomy. And of course, there are times when advice is welcome and helpful, but it's important to distinguish between solicited and unsolicited advice. If you've specifically asked for someone's opinion, then their feedback can be valuable. But if they're constantly offering their 2 cents without being asked, it's time to set some boundaries. One way to handle unsolicited advice is to simply thank the person for their concern and then politely decline their offer. You can say something like, "I appreciate your input, but I'm going to figure this out on my own." If the person persists, you can be more direct. Explain that you value their opinion, but you prefer to make your own decisions. You can also remind them that you'll ask for their advice if you need it. It's also important to be mindful of your own reactions. If you get defensive or angry, it can escalate the situation and create unnecessary conflict. Instead, try to remain calm and assertive. You have a right to your own opinions and decisions, and you don't have to justify them to anyone. If someone consistently offers unsolicited advice, despite your efforts to set boundaries, you may need to limit your interactions with them. It's okay to distance yourself from people who don't respect your autonomy or who make you feel judged and inadequate. You're the expert on your own life. You know what's best for you, and you have the right to make your own choices, even if they don't align with someone else's opinions. By refusing to accept unsolicited advice, you're reclaiming your power and taking ownership of your own journey. It's also important to note that not all unsolicited advice is bad. Sometimes people offer advice out of genuine concern and a desire to help. However, it's up to you to decide whether or not to take their advice. Listen to your intuition and trust your own judgment. If something doesn't feel right, don't be afraid to say no. Now let's turn our attention to the fifth and final point. Never accept limitations. We all have dreams, aspirations, and goals that we want to achieve in life. But sometimes we encounter people who try to put limitations on us, who tell us that we're not capable of reaching our full potential. These limitations can come in many forms. It might be a parent who doubts your career choices, a partner who discourages your ambition, or a friend who belittles your dreams. It can also be societal expectations or cultural norms that try to confine you to a certain path. When someone tries to limit you, it can chip away at your confidence and make you doubt your own abilities. You might start to believe that you're not good enough, smart enough, or talented enough to achieve your goals. But here's the truth. You are capable of amazing things. You have unique talents, strengths, and potential that are waiting to be unleashed. Don't let anyone else's doubts or limitations become your own. When someone tries to limit you, don't let their negativity define you. Instead, use it as fuel to prove them wrong. Show them what you're capable of by taking action, pursuing your goals, and achieving your dreams. It's also important to challenge your own limiting beliefs. We all have internalized messages from our past that can hold us back. Maybe you were told as a child that you weren't good enough or that you should settle for less. It's time to rewrite those old scripts and create a new narrative for yourself. Affirm your own worth and potential. Remind yourself of your past achievements and the obstacles you've overcome. Surround yourself with positive affirmations and visual reminders of your goals. You are not defined by your limitations. You are defined by your courage, your resilience, and your determination to succeed. Don't let anyone tell you what you can or cannot achieve. The only limits that exist are the ones you place on yourself. So there you have it, 5 things you should never accept from anyone. By recognizing and rejecting these toxic influences, you're paving the way for a more fulfilling and empowered life. If this video resonated with you, please hit that like button and share it with others who might find it helpful. And if you want to stay updated on more content like this, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Your support means a lot.